I don't care how good they is right now. It's a whole different ball game, bro. With somebody holding on your shorts the whole way to the basket.
And it's legal. And it's legal.
Come on, man.
When you run through the paint and you can get bumped, it's different. And that's my argument with people. It's like, it ain't no disrespect to anybody because they're all great. And you're going to argue back and forth and everybody's going to have their opinion. But I'm saying, which rules are we using?
LeBron James made 8 straight finals and 10 total finals appearances. And on paper, that looks like untouchable dominance. It sounds clean, powerful, almost unbeatable when you just read the numbers without context. Then VinceCarter steps in and calls the whole thing fake dominance. And before you brush it off as another salty take, you need to hear what he brought to the table. This wasn't noise or opinions flying around. Carter came with math, history, and cold facts that flipped the entire LeBron legacy debate upside down. This isn't about courage or clout chasing. The real question is whether you're ready to hear something that messes with everything you thought you knew.
we got the
What's up, Tar Heel?
VC, what's up, my dog? You know, all right?
Everything. Yeah, man, I'm good. You know.
Carolina soccer girls team.
Yeah,
shout out
man.
to them. Get another natty.
Shout out to the soccer team. Yes,
number
sir.
22 for the women's soccer team.
Oh, okay.
Running them up.
Okay. Don't just say it like that. Just don't say it like that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I mean, wow, that's life-changing. I'll go home and write about it. Thank you.
How about the Florida Gators, number 9th in the country in Florida in men's basketball?
Early 2025 rolls around, and Carter sits down for what everyone assumes will be another safe, forgettable retirement interview. Nothing flashy, nothing risky. Then the question comes up about LeBron's place in history. And instead of playing it safe like most retired players do, Carter lights the whole thing on fire right there on camera. I respect LeBron, Carter says, sounding calm and normal at first. Then he keeps going and drops the line that freezes the room. But let's be real about what we're calling dominance here. That's when the energy shifts completely. Carter says that Eastern Conference from 2011 to 2018 wasn't dominance at all. He calls it a highway with no traffic. The interviewer goes blank, clearly thinking, did he really just say that? And Carter isn't done.
Well said. That's well said. And that's what I said, because you're going to always ruffle feathers. If you're a diehard Bron fan, you think it's disrespect when you say otherwise about him, Cole, and Mike. So that's just, it's going to be an ongoing battle because unless they ever played against each other. Just imagine them playing against each other.
Whew. So for the record, you got MJ, Kobe, but then LeBron?
Yeah.
Can LeBron, in your opinion, with LeBron's maybe 2-3 years left, maybe 4, does he have an opportunity in your mind to possibly jump Kobe?
He has an opportunity.
He leans in and adds that LeBron's path to those finals wasn't just easy. It was one of the easiest multi-finals runs the NBA has ever seen. Within hours, the clip explodes everywhere. Twitter turns into chaos. Instagram comment sections become war zones, and fans come out swinging. What nobody expected was this. Behind closed doors, other former players start backing Carter up quietly. They agree, but they don't want the smoke that comes with saying it out loud. Facts matter here, because VinceCarter didn't just throw out some random opinion for attention. He came locked in with real receipts. LeBron James made 8 straight finals from 2011 to 2018, something nobody had ever done before. And yeah, that sounds insane at first glance, until you actually stop and look at who he had to beat to get there.
I wanted to get your take on LeBron, because you've played against him since he was a young pup. What's the biggest difference of him then and now in terms of how he just keeps getting better?
Dedication. He has goals in mind, what he wants to accomplish, and it's clear that he wants to be the greatest. You know, when he's saying, you know, I want to play so many years, like I'm saying, I want to play as long as I can. He wants to be the greatest. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, those are people that we throw around. He wants to be there.
Here's the part people don't like talking about. The Eastern Conference during those 8 years wasn't just weak, it was a full-blown mess. Historically weak. Embarrassingly weak in ways that are hard to exaggerate. In most of those seasons, the second best team in the East wouldn't have survived the first round out west. Some years, they wouldn't have even sniffed the playoffs if they played in the Western Conference. The numbers don't lie either. Across that entire 8-year stretch, only a small handful of East playoff teams even cracked 55 wins. Meanwhile, the Western Conference was an absolute war zone. Year after year, it was loaded with 55-plus win teams. Championship-level squads were getting knocked out in round 1 before they ever had a chance to breathe. That's the difference. The Miami years from 2011 to 2014 make this crystal clear when you break down LeBron's real competition. The Boston Celtics were old and falling apart piece by piece. The Indiana Pacers were solid, but they weren't touching the elite out west in a 7-game series. Not even close. Out west, you had the San Antonio Spurs still running a full dynasty. Oklahoma City Thunder with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook in their absolute primes. The Los Angeles Clippers flying with Lob City. The Golden State Warriors being built into a monster. Houston Rockets with James Harden, and Memphis Grizzlies running grit and grind chaos. Every single playoff series in the West was a battle. Championship teams were eliminating each other long before the finals ever came into view. In the finals, the San Antonio Spurs would outlast the Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 games. Then the Golden State Warriors would knock off the Spurs in 6. These were teams that would have walked straight through the Eastern Conference without even breaking a sweat. That's why Vince Carter hits different than some studio talking head, yelling for clicks. Carter actually played in both conferences during his career. He's not guessing, theorizing, or box score watching. He lived it. He felt the difference in his body every single night. When Carter moved from the East to the West, it felt like stepping into a completely different version of basketball. The intensity wasn't optional. It was nonstop and brutal. Western Conference road trips were straight up punishment. One night in San Antonio, then a flight to Portland, then down to Los Angeles, then over to Phoenix. Every stop had a real contender waiting to test you. Now compare that to Eastern Conference trips during LeBron's run. You'd see Miami or Cleveland, then teams like the Pacers or Hawks. Solid playoff squads, sure, but nowhere near true championship threats. The physicality told the story too. Memphis Grizzlies would punish you in the paint and make every bucket hurt. San Antonio would slice you apart with surgical precision. OKC would overwhelm you with pure athletic force. Out East, teams weren't building to win titles. They were just trying to survive LeBron's super teams and figure out how to compete at all. Vince Carter put it blunt when he said the West was where championships were actually decided. Most years, the finals were just a formality because everyone already knew the real best team was coming out of the West. And when you look at LeBron James's supporting cast, this whole legacy story gets even uglier for the narrative. In 2011, LeBron didn't just join a good situation, he built one. He formed a super team in Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, both in their prime, both all-stars, both capable of winning on their own. That wasn't chemistry happening naturally. That was an overwhelming force designed from day one to steamroll whatever stood in front of it. And in the Eastern Conference, it worked perfectly. Nobody out East had the firepower to even slow that down. The Celtics had their big three, but they were clearly aging out. The Bulls had one superstar in Derrick Rose before injuries wrecked everything. Everyone else was just hoping to steal a game or two and escape with dignity. Cleveland got the same blueprint when LeBron returned. He pushed for a trade for Kevin Love, while Kyrie Irving grew into his co-star. Suddenly, the Cavs had 3 all-stars in their prime, while most East teams were lucky to have one. Out West, it was a completely different reality. The San Antonio Spurs didn't stack stars, they built a system. The Golden State Warriors drafted and developed their core. The Oklahoma City Thunder grew together from the ground up. These teams battled each other with balanced rosters and real resistance. And Carter didn't sugarcoat it when he said LeBron stacked the deck in a weak conference. That's not dominance, that's strategy. And yeah, it worked perfectly. But let's stop acting like it was the same grind players in the West we're dealing with every single night. This is where the conversation gets uncomfortable for LeBron James fans. What if LeBron spent his prime years in the Western Conference instead? Would he still have made 10 finals, 8 straight appearances? Vince Carter doesn't think so. And once you actually break down the matchups, it's hard to argue against him. Picture LeBron's Miami Heat from 2011 to 2014 trying to survive the West every year. First round, you draw the Memphis Grizzlies, which means a full-on physical war just to advance. No easy starts, no warm-up series. Survive that, and now it's round 2 against the San Antonio Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder. One series you're fighting Tim Duncan's fundamentals and Greg Popovich's chess moves. The next, you're trying to slow down Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook in their absolute prime. Make it through that, and now you're in the Western Conference Finals, facing the rising Golden State Warriors dynasty. Or the Los Angeles Clippers, Lob City at full strength. That's a nightmare run. Now compare that to the East. First rounds against the Charlotte Bobcats, the Milwaukee Bucks before Giannis, then maybe the Pacers or Bulls without Derrick Rose. Conference Finals versus the Hawks or Raptors that nobody truly believed were championship threats. And when LeBron finally moved west with the Los Angeles Lakers, the truth hit fast. Year one, he missed the playoffs entirely. 8 straight finals in the East, then 0 in year one out west. The competition level instantly proved Carter's point. The reaction to Vince Carter's comments was exactly what you'd expect. Total chaos across every social platform. LeBron James's fan base came out swinging, loud and angry, not trying to hear anything else. The go-to line was simple and repeated nonstop. Vince is just mad. He never won a ring. And just like that, the conversation got personal and missed the point entirely. What LeBron defenders didn't see coming was how many people started agreeing with Carter once the full context came out. Former players and longtime analysts who've covered the NBA for decades began speaking up. The generational divide showed itself immediately and split the basketball world clean in two. Younger fans who grew up watching LeBron couldn't process the idea that their hero's resume might need context. Older fans who watched Michael Jordan battle through stacked conferences, who saw Kobe Bryant survive the Western Conference gauntlet year after year, were nodding along with everything Carter said. Several current and former players quietly showed support too. They didn't say it outright, but likes on certain tweets and carefully worded interview comments made their stance obvious. The message was loud, even without names attached. Carter said what a lot of people in the NBA have been thinking for years. One veteran player told a reporter anonymously, "It's wild we can't have this conversation without people losing their minds. Vince is right and everyone knows it, but nobody wants to say it because the LeBron brand is too powerful." And that leads to the question everyone keeps dodging. Does this actually change how we're supposed to view LeBron's legacy? This is where people really start squirming. Because if you accept Vince Carter's argument, then everything has to be re-examined. 10 finals appearances sounds legendary when you say it fast, and in one sense, it is legendary. But 8 of those came through a conference that couldn't seriously compete with the West in any real way. Carter's whole point is that context is everything. Legacy talk only matters if it can survive scrutiny. When you compare paths, the differences jump off the page. Michael Jordan won 6 championships, but his road was brutal. He had to get past the bad boy Pistons who beat him down for years. He had to survive the Knicks when they were physical and nasty. He had to go through the Pacers led by Reggie Miller. In the 90s, there were no shortcuts in either conference. Then look at Kobe Bryant in the 2000s. The Western Conference was loaded every single year. Championship-level teams everywhere. The San Antonio Spurs were in full dynasty mode. The Phoenix Suns were playing beautiful basketball with Steve Nash. If you made it out west, you already proved you were the best team alive. Now compare that to LeBron's run. From 2011 to 2018, most years he faced maybe one real championship-level team before the finals. Some years he faced none at all. The gap was so wide that fans were predicting Cavs versus Heat finals matchups before the playoffs even tipped off. And that's why Carter blew the door open. He forced a conversation a lot of people wanted sealed shut forever. When someone asked if he regretted his comments, Vince Carter didn't hesitate at all. His response was short and direct. "Why would I regret telling the truth about what we all watched happen?" He doubled down hard. The Eastern Conference from 2011 to 2018 was weak, and that's not an opinion. That's an observable fact. LeBron James's road to 8 straight finals was clearly easier than what players in the West had to survive. And when we start talking about legacy and greatness, context matters just as much as trophies and finals appearances. LeBron is one of the greatest players ever. No debate there. Anyone who actually understands basketball knows that already. But if we're going to call him the absolute best, we have to be honest about every part of the story. That includes dominating a weak conference for nearly a decade. That includes avoiding the Western Conference gauntlet until his prime years were already fading. Those details matter, whether people like it or not. This debate isn't finished, it's just heating up. Does dominance still count if the path was historically easy? Should greatness be judged only by results? Or does the level of difficulty matter when we compare legends? Carter made sure these questions can't be ignored anymore. Drop your thoughts in the comments and keep it real. And if you want more NBA talk that cuts through the noise and doesn't play it safe, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, because we're here to speak the truth about basketball.